beautiful people. Hi friends, hi family. Welcome back to Simply Grace Miriam. If you're new to this channel, my name is Grace Miriam. I'm a registered nurse originally from Kenya, but currently working and living in the UK. If you're my returning subscriber, you have always been here to support me. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. I don't take it for granted. You're my family and I thank you so much. Oh my goodness, guys. I can't believe you are now 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for always being here to support me. And very soon, in the course of next week, I'll be doing a giveaway. So stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe, like, share, and comment in this section. So from the title, I'll be letting you of the 4 reasons I'm not considering moving to the United States of America. Stay tuned, and if you're the one who is interested in this video, please be sure to watch the video until the end. Let's get to the video. So my first point is being scared of starting over. Guys, when I tell you I'm even scared of moving from my current accommodation, it's not a joke. So you can imagine moving countries or just moving cities. It's something that is very difficult. And if I can be honest with you guys, since I moved here in October 2021, to be honest with you, I'm still trying to navigate my way around. So just going ahead and trying to think about me moving to the United States or me moving to anywhere else, it's something that gives me a lot of stress and a lot of pressure. Moving into a new country is very, very challenging. For those who have been there, know exactly what I'm saying. It's very, very challenging. And especially if you're moving there and you're all by yourself. There's no family, no anyone that you know, you're just by yourself. It's very challenging. For you, the first challenge that I had, if I can remember, is that the person who picked me up from the airport, even understanding the accent was just a problem. I had to struggle. Even at some point, I remember when the person was just like trying to give a story or a joke, I wasn't even laughing. I was just like saying, okay, because I couldn't understand the accent. So at that point, I kept on thinking to myself, if I can't be able to understand what this person is saying, how am I going even to understand what my patients are saying? But what I can tell you is that patience. With time, you get to adapt, and with time, you'll get to understand. You'll get to find your way into understanding all the accent, into finding your way, and everything is going to be fine. The second challenge that I had was food. Oh my goodness. I can remember when we came in, it was during COVID, and I was on quarantine for about 2 weeks, yeah, if I can remember very well. It was about 2 weeks, and my trust was very lenient. They offered us food for about 2 weeks, and you can imagine coming into a house and finding yourself with food that you've never seen, food that you've never eaten, and you can't just let alone cooking the food. You don't understand even how the food is cooked. It was very difficult, and at that point also I was still in quarantine. So at some point I had to order food, and you can remember the kind of money that, if you have watched my previous videos, you'll understand how I came, and the kind of money that I came with wasn't quite enough for me to start ordering food. But at times I had to order food because I didn't like know how to prepare the food. The food wasn't like something that I'm used to eat, something that I've had to eat for I've ever tasted, that is. So I had to order at some point, and it wasn't quite easy for me at that point. Even water itself, I'm not sure whatever is in the water here, but the water itself is quite different. The it tastes quite different. So when I came in when I came in at the airport, so there's this bottled water, like in small cans. So when I saw those cans, the African in me thought that maybe it's some energy drinks that the airport is providing for its people or something. So I just went ahead and took like 2 or 3 cans of water, and to taste it, just tasting the water wasn't something that I've ever tasted before in my life. So you can imagine people just looking at you, staring at you, taking those 3 bottles, because honestly I was feeling thirsty and I just needed something to drink. So in my mind I was like, maybe I can try and take this thing. It looks like maybe it's something liquid, I can try and have it. But when I tasted it, I wasn't able to take it at all. I had to discard all of the cans that I had taken in the bin, of which is not good, but that's what it was. There's nothing I can change about it. So water tastes quite different. I'm not sure even if going to other countries it's also tastes different compared to maybe UK or US, but no, everything was very different at the beginning. So the next challenge that I had was locating shops that sell African foods, because I've told you that even tasting the food, the kind of food that the British people eat, the people who are from here eat, is quite and still a challenge for me and my family. So locating shops, African shops to buy food, of which is still very, very expensive, was even a problem. So you have to like try to use your Google and try to maybe find places that you can at least find your African shops. So me, at least by now, I can tell you where some few African shops are. So starting to just imagine that when I go to a different country, I'd have to undergo all that stress. It gives me a lot of heartache, and a lot of headache. Even just trying to find accommodation. Hey God, if if I was going back to my country, I would say yes, it's so easy, but I've just noticed that in most of the first world countries, you've got to sign like this contracts for maybe 1 year. Even I don't know from other people, but you've got to sign contracts. So and in other circumstances, you don't know what it entails for you to have that accommodation. So just starting all over again, doing such is something that is not easy for me. So even when I went to the hospital, when it was time for me to start work, it was so difficult because you've got to find new faces, you've got to find people who speak the kind of different accent. So you know that when you come here, it's not like only the British people. You also have like Indians, you have Nigerians. So you've got lots of accents. So for you to try and navigate and understand what each and every person is saying, it's quite challenging. But when you get to work with them, you get to understand what each and everyone is saying, or you get to understand where they're coming from, then it becomes easy. What I can tell you that at the beginning, it's not an easy ride, but all in all, you'll find your way and you'll be fine. You'll just be fine at the end of it. The second point is about security. So honestly, I wouldn't say that UK is very much secure than the US, because I haven't been to the US. But what I'm sure is that at least I won't be working someday, maybe in the morning or maybe in the evening or at night, and just walking around and meeting someone who is flaunting their guns. From what I've learned and from what I've read in some videos that I've watched from people who have been there, or from people who are talking about the US, they're just saying the regulations, the gun regulation in the UK and in the US is quite different, and this is something that really scares me to death, because I've just read that in the US people can just walk around with guns. They have guns in their homes, and you can even find people walking with guns around. But here, honestly, for the 2 years that I've been here, I've never even seen a gun before here. Even not talk about the police officers, the people who are supposed to be protecting us, they don't even carry guns around. So you can imagine just a common person carrying a gun around. This is something that really scares me, and I can't even also try to imagine that I'm in my workplace, or even I'm just maybe I'm resting at home, or maybe just somewhere else, and just getting a phone call that maybe there has been shooting in the school, or maybe in the workplace. Of late we've been seeing that there are a lot of shootings in the US, maybe in schools, in places, and this is something that is very difficult. Honestly, I'm not sure how people who are there take it, but what I'm sure about is that it's not easy for them, and for me, I'd rather stay here, because I'm one person who worries too much, and just staying in fear that you don't know what next thing is going to happen. Maybe someone's going to shoot your head one day. It's something that is very scary, and it's something that I can't take it. I'd rather stay here. Of course, in the UK, there are also different types of crime rates, but I'd rather choose that than choose over other places. And even me coming from Africa, from Kenya, there are lots and lots of crime rates. Even you see police officers having guns, anyone having guns, thieves having guns. So I think I'm already used to some kind of crimes happening. So I'd rather stay here. I think that is one of the reasons that I choose UK. The third point is annual holidays, or leaves in other words. So I'm going to just talk about the NHS because that is where I work, and currently we are being at the moment I'm being given 27 days plus 8 days of bank holidays. So that's total to about 35 days, and they do their calculations in hours, so you can find yourself having about 5 to 6 weeks for your holiday. Aww. So just imagine the kind of holiday you have. And when you have that holiday, it doesn't mean that you're just going to be traveling around the world. So you can choose on whatever you want to do when you're on your holidays. You can choose to save your holidays and work in your hospital or wherever you're working. And this you have to talk about with your manager, with your line manager. And you can also decide to travel. Maybe for us who are immigrants, you can choose to travel to your home country. You can use to do some other bank shifts. Bank shifts are just these extra shifts that you do while on your bank holidays. You've got quite a long, or let me just say a good amount of time for you to rest. So I'm not sure about the US really, but from what I've read and from what some of my friends have been telling me, so is that these holidays, it depends on your employer, or it depends on where you're working. Some get even up to 17 days of paid, and others don't even get paid annual leaves, of which when you're here, it's a statutory. While in the UK, it's an entitlement. In the US, some other people don't even get these annual leaves or annual holidays. So I'd rather stay here because at least you get enough time to rest, because honestly, whatever we do, working in the hospital or generally working is not easy, and at least you've got to have time for you to relax, for you to try and think other stuffs apart from work, for you to energize, so that, because honestly, you know that there's no way you can pour from an empty cup. You need some time to think about yourself and about your family. And also it gives you ample time to relax with your family, to take your family maybe to go somewhere and just have some good time, to have some quality time with your family. Maternity leave is another issue, and to tell you that I recently, just like 4 or 5 months ago, I came from my maternity leave, and to tell you that you can take up to 52 weeks. Up to 52 weeks, that is almost a month of maternity leave, although not all of it is being paid. You are being paid approximately, I think, about 9 months, but this is another video for another day, because if you are interested to know of how much and how long you're going to be paid when you're on maternity leave, I'll do a video on that. So if you're interested in that, please make sure that you subscribe to this channel, because I'll be doing that video very, very soon. For me personally, I took 6 months of my maternity leave, of which it was paid, and I also had an additional of 1 month of annual leave, so it was a total of 7 months. So I can say in this instance, I got to spend some time with my daughter, and it was quite a good time. I was okay with that, with those 6-7 months, because if I can remember very well, in my country it's 3 months. So after 3 months, you've got to go back to work or to school or whatever you're doing. So for me, staying at home for 7 months and having a paid of 6 months. So I've told you already, I will do another video of that to know exactly of how much I got paid when I was on my maternity leave. So during that period, it was much okay, because I was being paid at the same time I was having some good time with my daughter and getting to see her grow. In the UK, they're also given paternity leave of about 2 weeks, of which is guaranteed, and some people are entitled to that. And this also depends on where you're working and if you're going to be paid or not. I'm not sure about in the US, but from what I've read is that some employers also don't even give any paid maternity leave. So you can have even up to 12 unpaid maternity leave, of which not everyone takes it. So the last point is family. Hey, let me tell you, having your family around, it's so underrated. There's nothing as important, mark that word, as having your family around, especially having your family living close to you, or just having your family living abroad or in the same country, that is, just in the same country. This thing is so underrated. I can just tell you guys, when I was on my, during my pregnancy, there was this period that I had a very complicated pregnancy. My daughter was born pretty much early at about 29 weeks because I had a very complicated pregnancy. So you can imagine, during this time, I was admitted in the hospital for about 2 weeks before I had my daughter, and before that I had also been admitted there for about another 2 weeks, or 1 week in different instances. You can imagine, during all this time, there was no one who was coming to visit me, because yes, of course, I've got friends who are here, friends who can come to visit me, and the hospital that I was admitted to was a bit far away, because I wasn't admitted in the current hospital that I'm working on, because at that point my baby was very early and my hospital couldn't manage that case. So I had to go, I had to be transferred in a hospital which was very far. And you can imagine, you have got friends and people here, guys, people here are very busy. You can't just expect someone to leave their work, to leave their families and come very far away on a distance of about maybe 3 to 4 hours, maybe by train, or if you're driving, maybe up to 2 hours to come and see you. It's quite challenging. Of course, there are those people who can come. Of course, some of my 1 or 2 people came to see me, but it's nothing as compared of you having your family around. You know, there's nothing as important as having family, because family, in whatever case it is, they'll have to make time and they'll have to come and see you at some point. So that's something that it was very difficult for me at that point. You can imagine everyone around you, having visitors, having their families to come and see them around. Aww. I had nurses coming and midwives coming to ask me, is someone coming to see you today? I'll just say yes. But in me, I just knew that there's no one who is coming to see me, because at home people are also busy with childcare and other stuff. So there's no way I could just expect someone to come and sit there with me and just be there with me for comfort and everything. So having your family around here is very important. And me just imagining to move to a different country, and like say the US, of which many people are moving on, and of which initially I was trying to move to, and not having anyone around, just being by myself, it's something that is really scary, because in case of emergencies, you don't have anyone to turn to, you don't have anyone to talk to, so it becomes very difficult. And you also miss to see just people from your family, to talk about other stuff that you can't talk to friends. So having family here is very important, and that is because I've got part of my family here. That is one of the reasons that I'm not considering moving to the US or anywhere anytime soon. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed, please make sure to subscribe to this channel. We are now road to 2,000 subscribers. Yeah, road to 2,000 subscribers, guys. So let's do this. Thank you for watching. If you've got any question about anything, be sure to write in the comment section, like this video, share, comment, so that we can interact. Thank you so much for always being there to watch my videos. Have a good time. See you in my next video. Goodbye. Mwah.